In South Korea, rice is considered a staple in many meals. Today I'll be making a rice-based dish called jumokbap, which translates into fist rice. So to start off, you combine rice, seaweed, sesame oil, but I wasn't able to find any, so I just used olive oil, rice vinegar, and black sesame seeds. Once you've added all the ingredients into a bowl, you want to put a bit of oil on your hands before you start combining it all together. After it's been thoroughly mixed, you want to put some more oil on your hands so it doesn't all stick together once you start rolling the mixture into little balls. Once they're in the shape of a ball, you're ready to go. When the economic boom started in South Korea, the majority of South Koreans were farmers. 63% of the population lived in rural areas, and over the next 25 years, the agricultural workforce shrunk to 21%. This can be attributed to the growth of South Korea from the rural agricultural nation into an urban industrialized country. Over the past 40 years, South Korea has shown immense economic growth and international market integration to become the high-tech industrialized economy that we have come to know today. South Korea's terrain is mountainous with only about 22% arable land and less rainfall than compared to other neighboring rice-growing countries. A major land reform in the late 1940s and early 50s spread ownership of land to the rural farmers. Due to the rapid growth of South Korea's economy as well as urbanization, farmland has been decreasing and rural populations have moved in considerable numbers from the countryside to the cities. During this time, the population increased as well as income, which meant that the demand for food was greater than the supply. Due to this increasing demand, in the 1980s, approximately half of South Korea's needs were imported. At one point in their history, they've been heavily dependent on imports from the U.S. to meet the food grain demands. From 1954 to 1970, they have been among the largest food aid recipients of the U.S. However, South Korea has changed its strategy from relying on imports to domestic production. There have been many policies that have been established that improve the processes used in the agricultural sector as well as the use of farmlands to make sure that the government can provide to the demand of the people. The government initiated programs to improve rural conditions as well. The most extensive of these is the New Community Movement. It was mainly aimed at improving household living conditions. Later, it was directed more towards infrastructure conditions in rural areas. Also, it had a focus on economic concerns like group farming, livestock production, and forestation. Other goals included better health and sanitation, as well as the beautification of the environment. The government also provided the materials and small amounts of money to the farmers who supplied the labor. When compared with the industrial and service sectors, agriculture remained the sector with the least and slowest amount of growth. Rice is the most important crop and the yields were impressive. However, due to the rising wage levels and land values, it became expensive to produce. Rice represented about 90% of total grain production and over 40% of farm income. Agricultural labor costs rose greatly as young people left rural areas for urban jobs and farm work fell into the hands of women and older men. Their earning improved during the 1970s but fell in the 80s. Farm families accumulated debt, which can be attributed to the purchase of modern farm machinery as well as many new consumer goods being contributed to higher debts. Budgetary pressures from the government also reduced farm income. Today, most Koreans see the agricultural sector as undesirable and stagnant. There is little money to be made and the land is expensive. There is also a pressure of urban and industrial development encroachments. South Korea is among the top 10 exports, and the market for consumer-ready food items shows great promise.